The football portal opens today, but Auburn's been making waves in the basketball portal.
In the world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie 5.
Yes, sir. We're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie 5, and we are ready to get after it. Happy Wednesday, hump day, as we're going to get over this hump and get down towards the weekend. The football portal opened today, but Auburn made a big move yesterday in the basketball portal that's only open for just a little bit longer. We're going to talk about that big addition, maybe the offensive style you're going to see next year, and then what's left to finish off this roster. Huge rebuild. You've got 2 stars already added, and you're going to have probably some more coming here in just a little bit. But before we get started, we got to give a shout out to Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. Go to UncleKeith'sRedSauce.com. Use coupon code. It's going to switch up this time, the Barn 30, to take 30% off your order through the end of April. Hey, definitely take advantage of this. Take advantage of this savings if you've been wanting to try it. Go ahead, pull the trigger, save big on it if you like. Salsa with a little bit of a southern kick. No onions, no sugar. That's typically what you have in salsa, and that's what makes this have just that different taste profile. If you love salsa, give it a shot. If you live in Alabama, you can go to a Publix. If not, go online and save big. It's Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. It's good, y'all. Auburn adds their second basketball portal commit, and coincidentally, they also add their second Keyshawn to the class as Auburn adds Mississippi State big man Keyshawn Murphy. He's actually from Birmingham, Alabama. I think he went to Ramsey High School. So that's kind of been a thing. I feel like whenever you're in the portal or whenever you have portal guys, you look for connections. And I think Auburn had a connection here with just obviously being from Birmingham. Maybe had some familiarity with the staff. Regardless, as soon as he went in, I think he even went in with a no contact tag. I think he pretty much had an idea that Auburn was going to be the spot for him. He's been at Mississippi State for 3 years. His production, just like you would expect in minutes, went up every year. And I think he had a very impressive, very efficient year this year as he played like 24 minutes a game. But in those 24 minutes, he scored nearly 12 points a game and grabbed over 7 rebounds a game and also had at least 1 block per game. I mean, Auburn had some roadblocks early as far as big men are concerned. I think the consensus was you're going to have a really good shot at Flory Badunga. Didn't work out. Thought maybe you would have a really good shot at Yaxel Lindeborg from UAB. It didn't work out. And now you've gone on and you've gotten Keyshawn, which I think he's going to be a very, very intriguing player. He's going to be different, okay? He's going to be different from what we've seen the last 3 years, okay? He's got skills. He's very skilled, but it's different types of skills. Okay, it's not going to be throw the ball into the post and run the offense through the big man. I don't, and we'll talk about style here in just a little bit, but I think he's going to be more of your traditional big man. I think he could also play 4 or 5, the power forward, or the 5, depending on what else you add around him. This is huge because, again, Auburn, as far as post players, you really only had Sebastian Williams-Adams, who's a true freshman coming in, and then A.D. Scott, who you redshirted last year, who was just comfortable being a role player this coming up year. I think I called him like your Dylan Cardwell role. I guess it's really more like Chris Moore, not necessarily like Dylan Cardwell, because I was associating big men to big men. But what I meant was A.D. Scott's your guy that's comfortable just being a role player coming off the bench. And I think but that's all you have. You have a true freshman, and then you have A.D. Scott. So you added another big man to the mix. And I think based off of what you add around him depends on where he'll probably play more. I think he's a bona fide SEC starter, and I think he'll start at Auburn, and he'll be a factor right off the bat. Very, very excited to add him. Very skilled. I've watched a lot of film of him. I think he's very good. I think where we'll miss Johni is some of those little mid-range jump shots, those fadeaways. That's not necessarily Keyshawn's game. His game is get it to the rack. Get it to the rack, put backs. I think probably what you'll see more of is maybe more of like if you remember Walker Kessler, that style. Get it to him in pick and roll situations, get it to him down low near the basket. He does have the ability to run the floor. There were several highlights where he can actually run the fast break. He may have a little bit better ball handling and maybe overall have a little bit more athletic ability than Johni. I just think Johni had a little bit more range to his game. So this is going to be more, again, you're going to go back to more of the Walker Kessler type big man role. I think looking at Keyshawn, you're going to need him to do the other work that Walker did, the shot blocking, the rebounding. I just think it's just going to be a little bit different, but I think he's got all the skills to be a big time player in the SEC. 56% from the field. And I think a lot of that obviously are short in the paint type scoring. So that's why, his percentage is what it is. Not a very great free throw shooter, but we're used to that. And who knows, he could get, he could take us to, he's shot as good as, 69%, which is real nice from the free throw line his sophomore year. So we know he's got the ability, but overall, just a really, really good pickup. Again, where he plays, I think depends on where he plays primarily will depend on what all Auburn adds around him. And we'll talk about that here in just a second. I think you're going to have to get used to the idea of a different style of offense. I think you're going to have an offense that's going to look a lot different this coming up year. And we'll talk about all that in just a second. But before we do that, make sure to check out mybookie.ag. Use coupon code BARN for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Take advantage of that, man. Free play, free money to go and have some fun with. You can, bet any sport that you can imagine. And then if you want to go in the casino, you can do that too. So check it out, mybookie.ag. We'll be back right after this. Auburn ran their offense a lot through Johni last year, whether it was get it to him at the top of the key, get it to him in the paint. He was pretty much going to get a touch on, if not every possession, every other possession. It seemed like he was touching the ball a ton. I don't really expect that to be the style based off of this pickup that Auburn's going to look at running next year. I think this is going to look more like, very, very guard-centric I know Tahad, he put out his announcement. He's going through the draft process. I think the consensus is you feel really confident that you get him back. You'd love to have some sort of indication before April 22nd, which is when the portal closes, but you feel good there. You feel good that you might have a shot to get Chad back as well. You got a couple of really good freshman guards coming in. You just added the first Keyshawn Hall, who is he can play a number of those guard positions. You got a bunch of scorers. You got a bunch of athletic threats at guard. So I don't think you're necessarily going to run this offense through Keyshawn Murphy. Again, I mentioned it earlier. I think what you're going to see is more of that when Dylan Cardwell was in the game, more of that style of play. Only just I think he's a little bit more skilled. And you'll get it to him a little bit more than they got it to Dylan or Walker Kessler or, a little bit better version of, like an Anthony McLemore when he played there. Even though Anthony did take some threes, I don't think Keyshawn's going to be much of a three-point threat. Those type of big men where it's your traditional big man position. I think that's what you're going to see. And we're going to have to get used to that, which is honestly probably more the style of offense that Bruce wants to run. I think the Johni Broome stuff was great, but I think that's probably out of the ordinary for what Bruce likes to do. I think he wants to run and gun and have a big man that's nasty and plays defense and cleans up and can run a little pick and roll when you need it. But for the most part, it's 3-and-D, baby. We're running and gunning. We're hitting threes. We're playing defense. We're running the floor. We're putting total pressure on their defense by going fast. I think that's really more of the style. So Bruce maybe kind of getting back to his roots here a little bit more with a guy like Keyshawn Murphy. So very, very excited about that pickup. I think, there's a lot of people that were concerned about how slow the portal was going. There was a lot of people that were concerned about, the perceived misses. I put that in quotation marks. Flory just ended up staying at his school. So, that just kind of is what it is. And then I think anything with Yaxel is a gamble. And if you're going to pay that kind of money, he's more than likely going to stay in the draft. So you're paying a ton of money and you're putting a ton of effort into getting that guy with probably better than 50% chance that, he stays in the draft. So then you've done all this work, maybe missed out on a whole lot of other prospects, and you got that risk that he could just go into the NBA draft or stay in the draft, and then you're just kind of screwed. But there's a lot of confidence, again, with Murphy, and I'm glad they went ahead and got that in. What's next? What does Auburn have left? You just had an official visit from a JUCO first-team all-conference player, 7-footer, Amika Apurum. I'm going to just go with that. I'm just going to call him Amika. If I say Amika, you know who I'm talking about. 7-foot JUCO center from Kansas, I think it's Butler Community College. Yeah, there's that Kansas Community College, those athletic departments they have there, the football, the basketball, all those are really top notch as far as competition goes. True 7-footer. Like when this guy comes here, there's no doubt what position he's playing. He'll be a big man. He came on a visit this past earlier this week, I guess, and left extremely high on Auburn. I would not be shocked if by the time you're listening to this, maybe he's already added to the roster. It seems like there's a lot of momentum there. So if you get him coupled in with Murphy, now your front court's looking a lot different. If you go from what I said earlier to now you got 4 guys that could play both positions, the 4 and the 5, and maybe you still go try to find, another guy that maybe can be a little bit of more of a flex for a guy that can bump out and shoot the 3, whatever, like your Jalen Williams or, even how Johni played a little bit last year at times. You're feeling a lot better about your big man situation. Amika averaged, I think, like 11 or 12 points a game. And he averaged 13 points a game, 11 rebounds. And then I think he had somewhere around like 3 or 4 blocks a game. I think one of the big things about him is going to be conditioning and getting into shape to be able to play a little bit more, play more minutes so you can get that production. And I think you're going to have the same thing with Keyshawn Murphy, because he only played, 24 minutes a game. You're going to need, if those guys are going to play, they're going to, Johni was playing 30 plus minutes a game. I know early in his career he was not, but the last season when Auburn had their most success, and we've been screaming about this, I love having a 10-man rotation, but man, I like guys being able to, your best guys being able to be out there for, 30 minutes a game too, 28 plus minutes a game, because they just get in rhythm, they get hot, and then you just got to keep feeding them. So that's definitely going to be an adjustment. Feels like Auburn may want to add, another shooting guard or two. So maybe you got, 3 more spots left to go, possibly. Maybe another big man, and then just focus the rest on the guards. Roster shaping up. You got your superstar scorer, Keyshawn Hall. You got your big man, at least a solid big man that you can focus on, that you can build around, in Keyshawn Murphy. You got your 7-footer maybe in the wings that you can possibly add that could be a factor. It's definitely on the defensive side of the ball. You already have you have a really good nucleus of guards. If you can add a couple more there, you'll be set for another run. So it's going to be fun to watch. The portal closes in basketball April 22nd. So that's next Thursday. So Auburn still got a little bit of work to do, and we will see how that finishes up. So, guys, I really appreciate it. A little bit of a switch up with some basketball. Football portal is open, and Auburn is, going to look to have to add several, because they've already got, 4 or 5 that are pledged to go into the portal. Some of them are surprised, some of them aren't. And we'll talk about those more as the week goes on. So a lot of action going on over the next week for sure. So definitely stay tuned, hit that alert bell so you know when shows go live. Guys, I really appreciate it. If you like the video, like it. If you like the channel, subscribe to it. And we'll be back again soon. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay buttoned.
Thanks for listening, and drive home safely.